Remember that? Yeah.
A site that I don't know. I guess you could put adult advertising up on that particular site, and
it was sort of Craigslisty.
Right, and the U.S. government came after them. I don't know if it was other world governments that targeted them, but if you've been targeted by the U.S. government, that's pretty intense, and that's probably as much as you want to handle.
The behemoth.
So again, if you want to jump in here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So I wanted to get to this news about Assange. The news from the Daily Mail in the UK is that he has now been blocked from seeing key evidence in his extradition case. So he has yet to been shown key evidence in the case brought against him by American authorities, and his extradition hearing was told today.
Wait. So we're going to extradite you from a foreign country, and we're not going to tell you why.
The 48-year-old faces accusations of leaking sensitive U.S. military material between January and May of 2010, because he was working with then Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning, and assisting Bradley at the time with essentially getting the information out from the U.S. military to WikiLeaks so it could be released. The Australian national appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court over a video link from HMP Belmarsh, white-haired and clean-shaven with a gray jumper, and spoke to confirm his identity. Americans want to extradite him to U.S. soil so he can be prosecuted for conspiring with Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning for leaking classified documents. He's being held in a high-security jail ahead of a full hearing in February, where he will fight extradition to the U.S., where he faces 18 charges, including conspiring to hack into a Pentagon computer. So what apparently had happened, according to previous stories on this, is that he, as I recall, attempted to assist Bradley Manning with cracking into protected files, basically.
Did he say something like, try 1, 2, 3, 4 for the
something like that, yeah. And that's what they're coming after him for. Now, what all the 18 charges are, I'm not clear. That's the first I've heard that there are 18 of them that he's going up against. Gareth Pierce, who's representing Assange, said, quote, "The summary case which we have prepared is a dense document. Mr. Assange has not been given what he must be given, and we are keen to go through this to the best of our abilities to keep up with the requests of the court. It is predicated on the underlying evidence that Mr. Assange has not reviewed." And then last month, Swedish authorities dropped the rape allegations made in 2010 against him, which was, again, like the second or third time they dropped those. And they talk about a little bit more about Assange. He was jailed for 50 weeks for breaching bail on May 1st. So, again, it hasn't been 50 weeks, so I'm not sure why it is that I've heard that he has served the 50 weeks. So maybe he hasn't. I don't know what the good time rules are over in the UK. It's been more than half a year since they put him in the clink. So if you know more about that,
governments aren't going to follow their own rules anyway when it comes to stuff like this. Right? They're just going to do whatever they want.
Well, that's true. And so Anderson, so he actually met with Pamela Anderson, by the way.
Oh, I heard about that.
He had met with her while he was in...
She's apparently visited him more than once.
Yes, she has. She visited him while he was actually over at the embassy and has visited him since then as well.
Still no sex video, though.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So right now, he's still pretty in the dark about these charges that he might be facing over in the United States. And if you think Julian Assange should be punished for sharing information, I want to hear from you. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and Fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Do you wish you could do whatever you wanted in your dating and relationship life, even if you're married? Do you wish you made more money on less hours? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk live Saturday show. You can dial in here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
The artist currently known as Captain Kickass.
Coming up, last night we didn't get into the Star Wars story like I wanted to. Like, I managed to mention it at the very end of the show. But they're already lining up for the new Star Wars movie a week in advance out in Los Angeles. I hope we'll get a chance to talk about that. But, Julian Assange is way more important than Star Wars, so we need to continue on that topic here. As we do continue, I want to remind you about Freedom's Phoenix. It is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has them. The Daily Dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com, freedomsphoenix.com. Let's go to the phones and to the fun. We're going to talk first to Jerome. He's in South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Hello, Jerome.
Good evening. You were talking about WikiLeaks and Assange. Hey, that's one of Trump's favorite people, because when he was campaigning, he said he loves WikiLeaks and could they help him out. He loves it. I love Assange. I love WikiLeaks.
He did say that, and now he's prosecuting him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's prosecuting. Okay, anyway, but he also said when you're a celebrity, they let you get away with stuff. So we'll see where that goes.
You think they're just going to let him get away with stuff?
I'm not sure what's going to happen with that.
What do you want to see happen?
I want to see them throw him under the bus.
Why?
Because he's a dirtbag. He's a dirtbag.
Assange?
Yeah, he is.
Why? Why is he a dirtbag?
Hey, you're tapping into people's personal information and putting it out to help someone win a campaign. He's a dirtbag.
Oh, wait. So he told the truth, so he's a dirtbag? He didn't tap into anybody's information. He was given information. Are you referring to what happened with Hillary Clinton? Because you're the guy that's the partisan. Yeah. You keep calling in. You are pro-Democrat every issue, partisan? Every time. Yeah, you are.
Hey, wait a minute. But what about the Republicans? Are they partisan?
Of course they are.
Okay, then. Well,
so you're just as bad as the Republicans then, right?
No, I'm not. But, hey, speaking of that, let me give you a couple of things to show you just how bad I am.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because Lindsey Graham made a big enough fool of himself when he was talking about, before while the campaign was going on, he was calling Trump a white supremacist, a racist, a lowlife, and everything. And now look at him. And then you got that guy, Matt Gaetz.
I don't know who Matt Gaetz is. I've heard of this Lindsey Graham guy. I mean, he's a man with a woman's name. I mean, I don't know about that.
This guy is all caught up in the political.
Trying to infer something about Lindsey's
I don't know. Honestly, all I know is these people are scum and they're thugs, and I want nothing to do with them.
Let me get my thing out about Matt Gaetz.
I don't follow what they do. I don't care what they do. You know why? Because all they do is try to hurt peaceful people. Both the Republicans and the Democrats, all they do is try to tell people how to live, what they ought to do. In fact, we were just reading some quotes from these scumbags last night, and I think Graham was one of them, who is threatening Facebook and Google and Apple and saying, you better let law enforcement in the back door. You better give them a back door to encryption, or we're going to force you to do it.
Let me ask you about this guy, Matt Gaetz. He's up there ripping Hunter Biden a new one. And then we find out that Matt Gaetz has 17 traffic violations. How do you have 17 traffic violations?
Not traffic violations.
And still get elected to office? 17.
That actually seems relatively light for a politician. I mean, I would expect them to have rape or murder or something like that in their background.
DUI? What about DUI? Is that serious enough for you?
I think they're all bad, dude. I don't want any of them anywhere near power. I don't think that power should exist in the first place. I don't think that people should respect these thugs, no matter whether they be Democrats or Republicans. I think they're all bad. And the fact that you think one team's better than the other really just,
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, really?
I just try to bring balance.
But yet you think it's bad? You think it's bad that Julian Assange put information out there about these people?
Look, when you're hiding in an embassy and you don't want to come out and face the music, you're a dirtbag, okay?
Hiding in an embassy.
He was being persecuted for a bunch of BS, just like he currently is.
Hey, I can see you're very pro.
Let me guess. You were also in favor of prosecuting Edward Snowden.
Hey, look, I spent 9 years in the Air Force, okay? So I know when you sell your government out, there's a price to pay.
So you do support going after Snowden?
What about Jonathan Pollard? I mean, Netanyahu begged President Obama to let him out of prison, and he spent 30 years for spying for Israel. He's a dirtbag, too.
So Jerome is completely caught up in the reality TV show known as Politics.
No. Hey, thanks for the call, Jerome. I do appreciate hearing from you. It's always nice to know what somebody who's obsessed with this stuff is thinking. I just, to me, that kind of talk on talk radio is just so uninteresting. Whenever I tune into talk radio and it's like, coming up next, we'll have Senator so-and-so talking about the other Senator so-and-so, and he'll be talking about the prosecution of this representative, blah, blah. It's just like over and over the same old story about corruption and back-scratching and log rolling and just ridiculous political behavior.
It's like listening to the post-game interviews during sports ball, right? Like, my team beat the other team, and we didn't sport as hard as they sportsed. And
tell us what you did, coach. Tell us how it was.
Or even like reading the comments in like the fan sites for like reality TV shows or other TV shows. It's all the same thing over and over again. It's just, I thought this of this, and like these guys are doing this wrong, and
it's just, I get these headlines. The Google News thing where it generates news for you, news headlines based on what you search for or the things that it thinks that you're interested in. So, I, like anybody, like a good television show. I have a few series that I've been following over the years.
Right.
And every now and then I'll see these headlines in the Google News like, such and such actor from this show thinks this about this character or whatever. And it's just like, this isn't news. This is just a dumb piece about this show, and it's always this speculation about what's going to happen next in the show. It's like, why don't you just wait and figure it out when it just watch the damn show and you'll figure out what happens. Instead, it's like, this fan says it could be this theory of what could happen next, and it's like, my God, people spend their time reading this stuff. Let's go on here, though. You can bring up what you want. Mike is in Delaware. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Mike.
Hi, girls. How is it?
Hey.
It's hanging low.
What's up?
I just wanted to say that I believe that Jerome is a partisan, and I want to go down there and dance for him. How about that?
I don't know. Do you want him to pay you to dance or just dance for him for free?
I just want to dance. I want to dance silly all over him.
Is there a specific partisan dance? Like, I've never heard of
awful,
the partisan dance. I don't know how you would dance in the style of partisan. Can you explain that?
I would just dance silly for him. I want to dance silly all over him.
Would you be naked at the time, or would it just be silly?
Are you still listening, Jerome? I'm going to dance for you.
Good call, Mike. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for. You have an opinion? Okay, hold on. We'll get back to you. Whatever you got to think about here. We'll get to that. 855-450 free. Who doesn't like a good silly dance? 855-450 free. I sure as hell would be more interesting than listening to politicians talk. My God. You can bring up whatever you want here. You can take control of the airwaves. Whether it's about Julian Assange or something else you got on your mind. Coming up, they're going to be pumping a bunch of money into the economy. Yay!
Again.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Your product is absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how my life has been changed so completely. I'm just at a loss to describe. I don't know how I could ever tell Dr. Howard and Susan, his dear wife, how much I deeply appreciate all of the work they put into this magnificent product. I mean, there's so many things that have improved, and I'm only just beginning.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Whether you want to comment on Julian Assange or Star Wars or whatever it is that's on your mind, you can do that. With you tonight here, it's Ian.
I'm on a Mexican whoa radio.
I love that video.
It's the captain. Are we in Mexico?
Not today. I'm sorry.
But,
no, we're very
at
far.
some points,
very far away.
No,
from
I mean
Mexico.
is the radio show broadcast in Mexico?
Not to my knowledge. Anyway. I mean, unless somebody's got a pirate station in the. Well, I guess we were broadcast on the satellite.
Oh, okay.
So technically, we're blanketing the entire country of Mexico.
I just wanted to be able to realize my dream of being on a Mexican whoa radio.
Well, I mean, it's satellite radio. Is that? That's not the same thing, though, right? Like,
okay. Well,
you have to have a specified.
I'll just jot that down in my notepad here to figure out how to get Free Talk Live on an actual Mexican radio station.
Yeah, you have to be, in order to get the satellite signal that we do have, and it is free to anybody in North America, also sub-Saharan Africa. You can go to sat.lrn.fm. We don't talk about it very often, but it is there, 24 hours a day, pro-liberty talk radio content. And it is available across all of Central America. So, Mexico and the other, countries down there, Guatemala and Costa Rica, they can all receive it.
It's a really long way to say, I'm the captain.
Yes, and you are. But if you want to receive that signal, you have to have a dish. It's got to be pointed at the exact right spot in the sky. And you have to have a receiver hooked up to it. But the good news is it's cheap stuff. Like, it doesn't cost a whole lot of money to get one of these dishes. They're relatively small. You remember those big dishes that were like 8 foot, 12 foot wide
dish,
from the 80s? Yeah. You don't need them that big anymore. This 30-inch dish, and you're good to go.
It's like as big as a swimming pool in somebody's backyard.
Yeah. They still have those, but you don't really need to use them for a lot of these satellite channels. So yeah, we're up there. But of course, you also have to understand English to be able to listen to LRN.FM. So that's going to cut out a fair amount of the potential listeners.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of enclaves of expats.
That's true.
In Mexico.
Yeah, that's.
I wonder if one of them would tune in or is tuning into either this broadcast or the podcast or the digest or whatever.
If you're out there, you can call in anytime you want. 855-450-FREE.
If you could just put me on the air for even a second, I'll use that in a song. I'd be excited. I could say I lived the song the next time I hear it.
Balance of nature. Good nutrition is key to looking and feeling great, but eating right all the time can be a challenge. Travel and work schedules definitely can get in the way, or maybe you just don't have the desire or the time to shop and cook the right foods. Balance of Nature has the solution for you. With just 3 of the Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their veggie capsules, you get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that is a lot of nutrition. For a limited time, you can get free shipping plus the best pricing, and after your third month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. So go get the offer now while you can at balanceofnature.com. Use code FTL to get that deal. That's balanceofnature.com. We go back to Mike in Delaware. He sounded like you actually had some other opinion you wanted to share, Mike, so go ahead.
Yeah, hey, girls. I also wanted to mention that I love Star Wars.
Oh, yeah? How much do you love it?
Yeah, I love their laser swords.
Okay. Why?
And I also love the Stormtroopers. And I listen on satellite.
Well, you are just super cool. Although it says here you're listening to WDOV in Dover, Delaware. But they're getting it from satellite. I'll tell you that. Hey, thanks for the call, Mike. I appreciate it, man. We're going to continue here. We go to Robert. He's in South Carolina listening to WTMA. Hello, Robert.
Hello, sir. It's nice to speak with you again.
Hey,
I just wanted to say that, thank you. As far as Julian Assange is concerned, he basically was in charge of giving out information, getting information and giving it out. And who decided what he gives out? He decided that, basically, I think, right? So in other words, we can't have a situation where we have a person on the outside like that deciding what are important American secrets and what are not important American secrets, because he can't know all the background information that's connected with those secrets. He could be causing a lot of trouble for our agents out in the field. He could even be causing deaths without realizing it.
Okay. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't have any agents in the field.
Me neither.
So I would like to know the truth about what's going on. To me, the truth is more important than some government agent and what it is that they're doing, because a lot of the government agents are hurting peaceful people and causing damage and wrecking other people's countries.
All of the evidence points to that.
And invading other lands. So why wouldn't we want to know the truth about those things?
Of course we want to know the truth about those things, and there are systems built into place where people who are working in those departments can use normal channels to get that information to higher authorities who could consider that.
Wow. You got to be kidding me. You actually believe that crap?
There's the whistleblower, for example, the whistleblower ordinances, and there is even a number to call in if you see abuses in government.
Bradley Manning tried that, right? Like he, was looking into legitimate, whatever legal methods of trying to out, the information was, and was blocked at every turn, as I understand it. He was intimidated to do those things. Huh?
I see. Well, you know something? I moved here from the Federal Republic of Germany, and I asked my friends in Germany if they would send me information and I could do translations, because that's what I do for work. They said to me, no, they can't do that, because they told me at the time, this was about 15 years ago, that there are 14 intelligence agencies that listen to everything that goes back and forth across the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
But they said, as long as it stays in Europe, the Bundesnachrichtendienst can keep more or less tabs on what's going on. They can tell you, for example, they'll call your company and they'll tell you an outside organization, outside the European Union is spying on your company so that you can be careful. But there are other countries who know about these things, and the Federal Republic of Germany is a very responsible organization. They'll put that on their airway.
You think that governments are responsible?
Wow.
Germany's pretty responsible. They have
define what you mean by that. When you say a government is responsible.
Okay, the black holes, for example. The CIA had some what they call black prisons where they were putting people, who were connected in the Middle East in some possibly shady way. Well, that came over the airwaves in Germany, and there are a lot of other things that come over the airwaves in Germany. You don't hear them in the United States, but they put them right over the airwaves. So that Americans
so what you're saying is you think the German government outed the U.S. government's black operations?
Yes, of course they did.
Okay, so it's okay when the German government does it, but when Julian Assange does it, it's not okay? Am I missing something here?
Well, wait a minute. There's a huge difference between Julian Assange and the Federal Republic of Germany.
Yeah, one of them doesn't use violence on other peaceful people.
Germany's a very peaceful organization.
You don't know what you're talking about. All governments, by their definition, are not peaceful organizations. They're based in violence. Everything they do is backed by the threat of violence. Julian Assange has not ever been, has never used violence on another human being, at least that has ever been proven. Julian Assange is a newsman. He's a journalist. He takes information and he releases that information. And even if Julian Assange dies tomorrow, because from what I understand, his health is not not well in captivity right now. WikiLeaks will continue because the thing that he built is bigger than himself. It's not all about Julian Assange. It's about leaking information about all these governments around the globe. WikiLeaks doesn't just leak information about the U.S. government. They leak information about government gangs all across the planet. We only hear the stuff that affects the government gang here in the U.S. more often than we hear about the rest of it. But this guy's doing everybody a favor by putting the truth out there, and it's a shame that people like you are out there just calling for his head.
Well, wait a minute. I'm not calling necessarily for his head.
What are you calling for?
There's got to be some kind of a little punishment. You can't let everybody run around.
Yeah, you can. It's called freedom of speech, buddy. And it's supposed to be important to people in the United States.
Should we just open the doors of the CIA and let everybody in to take a look around?
Yeah,
Yes,
why don't we?
absolutely.
In fact, why don't we just shut down the CIA? How about that?
Well, we'd be in big trouble if we
Why?
did that, believe me.
Why would we be in big trouble? Why would we, you and I, be in big trouble?
Well, just think if our government couldn't keep a single secret, what would be going on out there?
I would love if they just went away entirely.
That's because you don't know what's going on out in the world. There are a lot of big problems that they resolve without you even knowing it.
Sure.
The FBI.
Well, if we don't
Yeah,
know
they're really,
the problems, then how can you know that they've been resolved?
You've been watching too much TV, Robert. Thanks for the call tonight. The CIA isn't resolving problems for people. It's out there causing problems.
He just contradicted himself. He's like, the CIA is out there solving problems that we don't even know about. How do you know that?
They're not going to tell you, that's for sure.
How do you know?
That's why I say he's watching too much TV. The CIA is always doing good things on television or whatever. It's
Creeps in action.
Yeah, these people are meddling in other people's business. Now, look, I don't support foreign governments either, but the CIA doesn't belong meddling in other people's governments around the world, and that's basically their job. There's more coming up here in moments. You can take another, of course, creates anger, it creates animosity, it creates political division. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
How would you like to hit the range tomorrow with a brand new gun? Because the United States Concealed Carry Association wants to give you a free gun right now. That's right, completely free. The USCCA is here to give every responsibly armed American the education, training, legal, and financial protection they need. And today, they're giving you not one, but 4 free chances to win $1,000. Simply text GCN to 87222 to get entered now, and you'll get 4 free chances to win $1,000 for any gun you want. Text GCN to 87222 and get entered today. But remember, these free guns won't be around forever, and you can't win if you don't enter. So don't miss out. Just text GCN to 87222 and get your 4 free chances to win now. That's GCN to 87222.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
When you're coping with bad news and the news media come calling, and they will, don't clam up. As notorious political figures find out the hard way, the cover-up can be worse than the crime. So get out in front of unfavorable news about your company, your group, or organization, or yourself. The sooner you confront a negative story, the sooner it will be over. Responding as quickly to negative stories as you do to positive ones enhances your credibility credibility. Hiding embarrassing information or lying will do more damage than damage control. Never stonewall. Tell your side of the story, use specifics, and detail what corrective action has already been taken. Respond in kind. If the issue is emotional, don't sound like a cold, unemotional Mr. Spock. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you dial toll free, you can join us here. Although, the phones are loaded up, so if you can't get through on the phones, you can get through on our Discord call-in lines, which are wide open right now, and you'll sound better as well if you call on Discord. Go to discord.lrn.fm. They are the five, there's different chat channels, right? So it's a chat server. The top 5 rooms are the on-air call-in line rooms. The top 4 of the 5 anyone can use, and then the 5th one is the AMP-only call-in lines. That's only for Free Talk Live amplifiers and supporters of the show. People like Rapture, who is a Free Talk Live silver amplifier. He is contributing $5 a month to the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's a way that you can help us get on more radio stations around the United States, bring new internet listeners on board, expose new people to the ideas of freedom. So if you want to get some cool perks too, like that AMP-only call-in line room. Also, there's AMP supporters chat rooms on the Discord server. There's an AMP-only Facebook group, and there's more. You can learn more about it over at amp.freetalklive.com. You can use credit card, PayPal, or Bitcoin BTC to join it, and we sure do appreciate it. Please go to amp.freetalklive.com if you like what we do and you want us to do more of it and have more people hear it. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here, though. We first have James in Alabama listening to WGOW in Tennessee. Are you really listening to GOW, James?
You know, I can't actually tell you. I'm driving a truck that has a messed up radio, and there's no telling. Well, I can't even see what time it is.
Well,
right
at least you're listening, and we appreciate that. Go ahead with your calls or your thoughts, please.
Well, I've never heard the show before, and I was headed south here. And it seems like, you guys are in the know and aware of so many things that
I don't know about
average people aren't entirely always privy to that information.
Okay.
So I was wondering, when we look at the Bible, because that's where I'm going with this, God is invested in the truth. He's always trying to reveal truth. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life.
And the truth shall set you free and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and indeed. No man comes to the Father but through the truth, which is Him. So when you're, sharing this information and everything, I don't know what your, affiliations are in faith and things of that nature, but, I don't have any sort of a problem with Julian Assange or anything like he's done there, because the Apostle Paul said that in this life, especially in particular those that believe, we're battling not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities in they're the rulers of this world. It's just the excuse me. It's just the way that things are set in this world.
Well, they weren't any different in Jesus' time than they are now. They were violent and capricious and arbitrary and terrifying and murderers and
wickedness and
awful back then. And a lot of religions, I'm not a Christian, but I was raised a Christian. I'm a pantheist these days. But a lot of religions have an appreciation for truth. But yet, when it comes to their political, people, they're all liars and scum, and people seem to just give them a pass, and it's despicable.
I feel like the thoughts that the average person who resides in the United States, there is no appreciation for the truth. I feel like they are brainwashed into just being subservient to the authority that is,
or one side or the other, and then it's the one side has the truth, and then the other side doesn't have the truth. James, are you're an over-the-road driver, professional driver?
No, I'm actually a traveling evangelist these days.
Oh, wow.
Earlier this year, I had $3.75 in my bank account, and he bought me the truck the next day. Said, go to Tennessee. So that's where I went. But home is back in Alabama, and I'm driving there now.
Well, travel safe tonight, and thank you for the call tonight. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Jimmy is in Tennessee, in Chattanooga, listening to WGOW there. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yes, sir. I have got a question for you boys and you thousands of listeners out there. But before I ask that simple question, I wanted to comment on the Julian Assange issue. I mean, it's like there's two sides.
He is estranged.
He was admirable. My point, as an independent, he's admirable. Yeah, all right. But I mean, there was some detriment in some areas. But there's two sides to it, and you can't. Yes, okay, but. My question, though, is the United States of America, our country, like every one of the many countries in the world, I mean, we are all faced with certain risks, certain detriment aspects that are going on, or it might be a border issue or this issue or that issue.
Okay.
But here in the United States, of course, we've got the world's reserve currency, of the world, the dollar, and we're under threat from from that aspect. But that which leads me. I mean, I wish people would call in and say what they think most jeopardizes the United States of America. For me, I would say it's the debt bomb.
The debt bomb.
I would say it's just
you mean
debt bomb. Yes,
the federal
sir.
government's debt that just keeps getting bigger year after year,
president after president.
How you look at it? No, not. I wouldn't put it like that. What it is, it's U.S. Treasuries. U.S. Treasuries, that's the issue. U.S. Treasuries that are being held by over 100 different funds, hedge funds, mutual funds, between 100 and 200 billion. So if the dollar drops 3% in value suddenly one day, you're managing, and all of a sudden you lost $3-4 billion in one day, you're going to be getting jumpy to get the heck out of your treasuries, out of the dollar. And then the whole world will go into a collapse. Of course, China probably will emerge. But besides that,
hold on. That's a lot to take in. I think, Captain, you've got a comment about that.
Well, I was just going to say it's about to drop because the Federal Reserve is about to inject, $300 billion. Thereabouts.
Almost $500 billion.
200 and something billion dollars. So basically, they're creating more dollars out of thin air.
Poof.
They're injecting it into the financial system, making every dollar that you have in your pocket worth less instantly.
Yes, exactly. As a matter of fact, the New York Fed had to feed the banks in New York $265 billion. That was about 3 months ago.
Yeah, they've done it multiple times in the last year or two or something like that.
It seems like every week they're putting another a couple of billion, 20 billion, 100 billion.
Now look, I'm not an investment advisor, Jimmy, but here's what I would recommend: is not investing in U.S. government anything. Don't put money into treasuries or investing in the things that they offer, because then you're just encouraging them.
Well, if we lose the dollar, it's like losing your whole family all at once, what it'll do to us. But the issue is really...
No, wait a minute. Hold
comes down
on.
to-
There are other options, just so you know. I mean, long time, gold and silver, precious metals have been a safe refuge for people that are looking to keep up with inflation over time. Gold and silver have done a great job of keeping up with inflation.
Sure, you're right.
And you also now have cryptocurrency. And Jimmy, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, which is another option that isn't as subject to manipulation, because some would argue that gold and silver supplies are manipulated by the various different people who control some of them out there. And there's some strong arguments for that. Despite that, of course, they've done a pretty good job of keeping up with inflation. But cryptocurrency is completely out of the hands of the state. They cannot stop it. They cannot shut it down.
And they never asked for permission.
Asked for permission.
My favorite part.
You can just go and get into the, whatever cryptocurrencies you want to.
The best illustration that I heard about the precious metals was that, like, an ounce of gold, 100 or so years ago, used to be able to buy, a really nice suit.
That's right.
Right? And then that same ounce of gold today, you can still use to buy a pretty
really
nice suit.
Yep. Exactly right. And the same thing was true. I think somebody gave an example of silver, where it was like, an ounce of silver would buy, I forget what it was, but or a silver dime would buy a gallon of gas or something like that, right? Like there was some sort of example where these things have done a pretty good job. Now, again, day to day, they're up and down. You can't look at the short term on these. You have to look at the long range and see that the dollar has continuously fallen in value. Keep that in mind. Everybody
keeps falling daily.
Yeah, everybody thinks, oh, it's so stable, the dollar, it's the world's reserve. And no doubt, if you compare the dollar to Venezuela's bolivar, it looks rock solid and stable by comparison, because they're debasing the bolivar as fast as they possibly can, whereas the dollar, they're not debasing it as quickly. But anybody who looks over time can see clearly. If you've been around for more than a couple of decades, you know that 2 decades ago when you went to the grocery store, $20 bought you a lot more groceries than $20 will buy you today.
Oh, yeah, by far. I was looking at some property locally in the New Hampshire area and the history of it, and you can find houses that sell for, $200,000-$300,000 now, 10, 15 years ago sold for $45,000, $50,000.
Yeah, that's another indicator for sure. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. Let's talk about the quantitative easing, the dumping in of hundreds of billions of dollars into the economy, and what exactly that's going to do. Well, I'll tell you one thing, it's not going to be good for the little guys like the rest of us. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you able to set your own schedule, work, play, or sleep whenever you want, 7 days a week? Are you free to date whomever you want, even if you're already married? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,476. Silver at $16.94. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,236. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, drug recognition experts are arresting innocent, sober people for DUI at an alarming rate, all based on a hunch. According to ABC 15 Arizona, stone-cold sober drivers in Phoenix, Arizona are getting DUIs and have to spend thousands of dollars proving their innocence. It seems the source of the misunderstandings and illegitimate arrests come from drug recognition experts. Those are cops with badges and fancy titles who claim they can look at a motorist and on observation alone determine if someone is impaired. Activist Post reports that testimony from DREs often holds up in court, without so much as a failed breathalyzer or a dirty toxicology report showing alcohol and drugs in someone's system. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Oakland City Council President Rebecca Kaplan recently suggested a plan to house up to 1,000 people from the city's homeless population on a cruise ship. But officials with the Port of Oakland have disputed the proposal, calling it untenable. The Mind Unleashed reports that during a recent meeting, Kaplan told members of the city council that she has already been in contact with cruise ship companies about the possibility of using their vessels for emergency housing for the city's homeless. Kaplan suggested that the ship could work similarly to the Queen Mary in Long Beach, a large old ship that is now docked in the harbor, acting as a hotel for tourists and other visitors to the area. Many members of the council are on board with the proposal, but it would need to be approved by the Port of Oakland, and they seem reluctant to allow such a cruise ship to dock in their port for an extended period of time. Mike Zampa, a spokesman for the port, told the Chronicle that Oakland's port was designed for cargo ships, not cruise ships. Oakland has seen a huge spike in homelessness over the past 2 years, with the number of people on the street rising from 1,902 to 3,210. For years, professional athletes have been subjected to drug tests that screen for cannabis. The Major League Baseball organization has now announced their new drug testing policies and associated penalties. Until now, the MLB was one of the few major sporting leagues that did not test its players for recreational drugs. While they did have an official list of banned substances for many years, they only actually tested their players for performance-enhancing drugs. The Mind Unleashed reports that's all going to change this year, when they begin to test their players for cocaine and opiates. However, the league says that cannabis will be removed from their list of banned drugs and will be considered a recreational substance like alcohol. One ironic twist is that synthetic cannabis compounds will be screened for and treated as an abusive substance, as such chemicals have been known to be very harmful. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Fans of the Tour de France will be disappointed to hear that the race has been put on hold for an indefinite amount of time, as many of the world's top cyclists are currently riding over to the creek to check out cool bugs. Our Chad Williams is live in Bergerac, France.
Thanks, Rachel. Roads that should be full of bikers are empty this afternoon. Right now, the riders were supposed to be here making the climb up the legendary Mont Ventoux, but instead, they rode into the woods after German cyclist Andre Greipel heard that there were a bunch of stick bugs down at the creek, and then everybody wanted to go down there and throw rocks at them. That's when Dmitry Muravyev reportedly skinned his knee but didn't care, and Irish champion Nicholas Roach announced he saw this big weird frog with like an extra arm or something, but it was hard to tell because it hopped away too fast. Race officials have not put a time frame on when the event will pick up again.
People keep saying that this is going to delay the race, but if I know these boys like I think I do, they're going to find some awesome shortcut through someone's backyard.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here as we launch into the second hour of the program. Big money's being dumped into the economy, and some people would have you believe that that's somehow a good thing. We'll get into that story coming up here. You can, of course, share your thoughts about whatever you want. With you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
And the captain.
We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts first, though, because you can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. The number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we have the Discord call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm. There's somebody waiting there. There's people on our phone lines. It's actually been a really busy night tonight on the phones, which is my favorite kind of Free Talk Live, where
Indeed.
You get to bring up stuff and, we can talk to you about it. So we're going to go back to the phones and to the fun. We have Eric calling from Pennsylvania, listening to WJET. Hello, Eric.
I'm Eric from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Welcome.
And I think the economy, I predict there'll be a Great Depression because they keep inflating the dollar, and it's just going to all crash. It's just all going to crash.
Well, I mean, I've been alive for 47-ish years or so, and the last, 20-ish years, I keep hearing, the predictions of, it's all going to crash and come tumbling down, and it has yet to do so. I realize that it's because of things like, quantitative easing and,
quantitative easing, yes, exactly.
Well, that doesn't help things.
Inflating the dollar.
But, for it to come crashing down completely would require people not conceding to the government when they come in and go, we've got to bail out these companies with this, all the 2008 stuff,
Yep. Yep, the 2008, they got a bigger bailout this time, huh?
So what's it going to look like, Eric? I mean, you call it a Great Depression. What is going to transpire in your mind?
The stock market is going to crash like 1929. That's what I predict for 2020.
2020, okay. I mean, they've managed to keep the plates up in the air, and that's what you're talking about, Captain. That even despite all the negatives, despite all the inflation, they've managed to just keep those plates spinning. You're saying it's on borrowed time. At some point, they're coming down. There's going to be a crash.
They're coming down,
What makes you think it's going to be in 2020 versus, 2022 or 25 or,
Because I heard restaurants are going to start to close starting 2020. They're going to start to close just like the factory started closing.
Restaurants, huh?
They'll leave a lot of unemployed people.
What made you,
why?
The
service economy is the only thing left. I mean, most of the factories are gone. Huh?
Well, why would you say that restaurants are going to close?
Because I seen online they're going to start laying people off of restaurant work. Huh?
Well, I mean, as long as there's people out there who don't want to eat at home, there's probably always going to be a demand for somebody to cook for them. But yeah, I mean, restaurants is a tough business anyway. They're constantly closing. That's just the nature of the business. But you're saying it'll be some sort of large closures. Well, I mean, interesting, dire predictions. Eric, thanks for sharing tonight. Appreciate it.
I'm kind of with the guy in that the math, right, dictates that it's not going to hold up forever, right? At some point, it's going to happen. It's purely a mathematical equation. right? If you look at it from that perspective, then yeah. And also, we're sort of overdue mathematically again for some sort of an event. But I am greatly depressed whenever I think about the economy. Whenever I look at the national debt clock, right? I don't care. Whatever the economy does. When you look at it as an individual and how it impacts you and your bottom line, as a guy who's just trying to work his way through life, it's a depressing topic, right? The truth is often depressing.
Well, the fact that the national debt continues to just balloon over, as you pointed out, president after president, doubling and tripling and so on and so forth, and it just keeps getting bigger, and they're never going to pay it off. They don't have any plan to.
Nope.
And of course they love to talk about how it's your debt.
Yeah.
Like you created this debt somehow.
Again, the word national means government, so the national debt is the government debt.
Right. And then, of course, there's all the unfunded liabilities that they've created, right, like Social Security and all the medical obligations and the military and all the pensions and all this crap that's going to come due. So it's just going to keep getting worse and worse, and there's just not enough money out there to keep it rolling, so they're going to have to print. They're going to have to, they can't tax enough, so they're going to have to print.
They will tax more, though.
Yeah, they will. But printing's a better way to do it because, from their perspective, then they're not raising taxes, right? You can't blame the politicians for raising taxes if they just print the money, even though that is in itself a hidden tax.
It is.
Because ultimately, the more money they print, like with this $425 billion, which actually isn't printed, that's just going to be put into a computer somewhere.
We were wrong before the commercial break. I said, 300,000 or 300 billion or so. No, I was $425 billion, which is what, more than the entire market cap of Bitcoin currently?
I believe more than twice, if not close to 3 times the market cap of Bitcoin.
I mean, my God.
Yeah, well, let's continue with your calls and thoughts. We can talk more about that in moments. But first, we go to Tim. He's in Michigan. Tim, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Captain Kickass.
Hey, how you guys doing, man?
Tim, what's on your mind tonight, dude? Go ahead.
Hey, you talk about the economy and the debt and all that. Well, we have the people we have running our country right now. Most of them, if I'm not mistaken, are all lawyers, are they not?
Yes, and that's a good reason not to trust them.
Hey,
right. I mean, they're less trusted than a used car salesman, aren't they?
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Hey, what's the difference between a lawyer and a catfish?
They're both on the bottom. I know that.
Yeah, one's a scum-sucking bottom dweller,
and the other one's a catfish.
The other one's a fish.
Well, see, they're not worried about the debt per se because, like you said, they're never going to pay it off, and there's never any intent to pay it off either.
Sure, they're riding high with money coming in from taxpayers. They got big money and big bennies and $100,000
the biggest
speaking
welfare
fees.
collectors on the planet are politicians.
They'll be sitting pretty.
Right. Well, they really won't when it all comes crashing down.
Oh, they'll still be doing all right because they can always steal money from people.
Well, they think they might flee to other countries and stuff, but
they may, but I mean, look at Nicolas Maduro down in Venezuela as an example. I mean, you've got a situation there where the people are literally hungry because they don't have enough food to eat, and it is very tough in a lot of cases. Living down there, the water is almost undrinkable in a lot of places. It is undrinkable, dangerous in a lot of places. It is a horrifying situation, which has a lot to do with the economic decisions and socialism of the government there. But Nicolas Maduro, he's fat. He's doing just fine.
Only until his people revolt.
Yeah.
They will revolt.
Well, they've tried a few times, but he's managed to stay in power because he feeds the military.
I mean, this is. I mean, I have a degree in accounting, so I understand. I mean, my economics professor, and he not only pointed this out once. I mean, I took two sets of economics courses through him. He's a pretty smart guy, and he pointed this out that fiat currency has never survived anywhere.
No, it can't.
Ever, throughout history.
Yeah, that's a very good point. If you look at all of the history of currency, you are absolutely spot on that it just keeps getting reinvented by the next government that appears.
It was never designed to succeed. It can't. I mean, if anything that you can just create out of thin air, and that's what fiat is. It's just the will. It's the decree of the king to say, this is your money, this is worth something, and then to force it on people.
Your Bitcoin is no different either. It isn't. It's just another form of fiat currency. But you know what? You know what we have in common?
Well, hold on. Hold on. Before you go on about that, Bitcoin is not like traditionally backed, meaning that one Bitcoin isn't worth a piece of gold or something like that, but it is backed by the power of the network that's behind Bitcoin, the decentralization of it, the uncrackability of it, the unhackability of it, the security of it, the fact that it's in tens of thousands, 10,000 nodes across the world. It can't be shut down. It can't be stopped. And
most importantly, it didn't ask permission to exist, and it's not forced on anybody.
And the inflation rate is predictable. Hold on, before you go on, this is very important. The prediction, you can easily predict how many Bitcoin are going to be created in the next 10 minutes, or the next year, or whatever, because it's predictable. It was set at the beginning of Bitcoin. It is not manipulated by politicians, which at any time can just wave their magic wand like they're doing here with 400 plus billion. Tim, if you wanted to hang on, I know you had another point to make. We'll bring you back for that. 855-450 free. Bitcoin is not subject to political whims. And so it's a completely different animal. And that's why one Bitcoin's worth over $7,000 right now.
And completely voluntary.
What's your dollar worth? It's Free Talk Live. More coming up. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Do you like going to your job every day? Can you set your own schedule and take long vacations whenever you want? Are you free to do whatever you want in your dating or sex life? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Free Talk Live.
We're talking about the immigration situation here in this country. Now, Jeff, you have a 5-point plan. I'd like for you to go over the 5 points again.
Oh, sure. Hold on. I just got to turn to the page.
That's fine. And if you, he's got pages worth of
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Number one, close the borders. Put up a barrier on the border. And I mean a barrier.
Like a Great Wall?
Yeah, a Great Wall, barrier, stone wall.
Right.
I mean, something that's secure. And then you put a moat underneath.
Holy crap. Alligators in the moat?
All right, now, you've got more, though, right? We got a wall and a moat, and then what?
You can put sensors on there. The motion detector.
Motion tracking machine guns, too? Spit out some 50 cals at them if it moves.
Ninjas, that's what we need. We just need ninjas mounted at 10-foot intervals along this wall.
The border ninjas.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want here. You can take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And the captain.
LibertyCon is coming up April 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. It's for people who want to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, perhaps for the purpose of career advancement or business or internship opportunities. You can listen to some great speakers like John Mackey, the Whole Foods CEO, co-founder, who will speak on conscious capitalism. Vernon Smith, winner of the Nobel Prize in Economics, will speak on alternative markets. Miriam Issa is a pop culture expert and political commentator with over 300 million YouTube views. And also Nassim Nicholas Taleb spent 21 years as a risk taker before becoming a researcher in philosophical, mathematical, and practical problems with probability. And there's more. Go to libertycon.com to get more information about the event, who else is speaking, and the events happening there. Plus, you can use code FTL and save $10 on your registration. Discounted hotel rooms are available for everybody staying at the Marriott Marquis there in D.C. And if you are a student and you need some help getting there, they've got travel scholarships available. You can get your early registration at libertycon.com. Use code FTL for a $10 discount. We will be there, by the way, broadcasting Free Talk Live from the event. We go back to Tim in Michigan. We've been talking about fiat currency and the printing of more money into the economy and the damage that it does. Tim, you had something else you wanted to say. Go ahead.
I think it's more of a debt problem, and it's not just with us. In as much as we owe probably $24 trillion.
Whoa! How did you start? How did you owe $24 trillion? What did you do?
24, right? But in as much as,
hold on, you said we don't owe that, do we? I don't think I owe $24 trillion to anybody.
Well, the U.S. of A.
Oh, you mean the government people? They did it. Well, I'm not obligated to their debts. Are you?
Those lawyers that we were talking about earlier. But anyway,
why would you want to pay a lawyer's debt for him? I'm not going to pay their debt.
Well, they're going to be just as bad off as everybody else because money's going to disappear. But anyway, here's my premise. In as much as we owe that much money, China, they don't even disclose how much they owe. And I bet you it's a good $60 trillion with all the building and stuff that's been going on. And every other country in this world owes debt. And guess what? You just trade debt between countries. They don't even print money. You don't need to print money. You send tanks to Ukraine. Hey, we'll guarantee those loans for you to pay back, the defense contractor. So, and at one point, I liken it to a bunch of ostriches with their heads stuck in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those ostriches, if they're big enough, like Finland and Greece, they weren't big enough. They were kind of indemnified, and Finland was nothing anyhow. But it's going to take a bigger one to do it. Because one of them ostriches is going to pull its head out of the sand, and they're going to look around and go, there ain't no way in God's green little earth that we're ever going to pay this money back, and forget it. We're not paying you. And then my next analogy is, remember when you set all those dominoes up on the floor all lined up to fall over?
Yeah.
That ostrich is going to kick it over the first one, and it's going to do the whole world up at one time because everybody's on the dollar.
Tim, thanks for your call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. That's Tim there in Michigan. You can dial in toll-free to bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Central banks are to blame for all of this.
Well, and anytime, and he's right to some extent, like we saw, was it Gaddafi? He tried to
go gold,
go gold standard, and then, of course, was invaded by...
They killed him.
Yeah. So the only thing that government currencies are currently backed by, as near as I could tell, is the full face and force of their military.
Total violence. Yeah,
and that's it.
Violence.
That's it. violence, right?
But the military needs to get paid too, right? Because if they, if Maduro stops paying his military guys, if he stops feeding them, how long are they going to keep doing his bidding? You know what I mean? Down in Venezuela, same thing's true in any state. As soon as the military starts going hungry, something's going to change. Whether it's a military coup, overthrow of the current state or whatever, and that doesn't necessarily mean things are going to get better. No. But it does mean that change is inevitable. It's just an absolute mess. You got $425 billion being, says here, printed, according to Cointelegraph. I suspect it's mostly going to be incremented in computers. This is the story that you had brought in here tonight. I don't know if we're going to get into any of the details, but, there's really not much else you need to know besides the fact that they're continuing to print money and put that into the economy. And there's actually somebody in our Twitch chat room he said there was an upside to printing money, and I asked him, well, what's the upside? And he says controlling the value of wealth during long periods of uneven accumulation. I don't even know.
Okay, sure.
How
if you're already in control, right? My personal prediction, just to sort of circle back to the whole the collapse thing, my personal prediction is we will start to see some of that when the world goes away from the dollar as the reserve currency. Right now,
that's another thing that people have been talking about for decades, but it hasn't really materialized.
Well, right, because they're all afraid that we're going to drop some bombs on them.
A legitimate concern.
Yeah,
although I don't think China has that concern.
Probably not. But do they really want that to happen? I don't know. If anybody can do it, they can. Not that I'm rooting for them to do so. I just feel like my personal opinion is that when some countries begin to sort of move away from using the dollar as the reserve currency is when we'll start to see some of those dominoes fall over, as the previous caller mentioned.
The gentleman in the Twitch chat, Fallacious AI, says, I'm not an expert on quantitative easing, but I've listened to debates on it and can tell when someone oversimplifies a vastly complex topic.
Well, quantitative easing, just those two words put together, it's what governments do. They make up new words. It's like kinetic military action. Well, what is kinetic military action? Is that a vastly complex topic? Nope. No. You know what it is?
Violence.
Bombing people. Yeah.
Right.
Kinetic military action.
Quantitative easing's printing money, but it doesn't sound like that, right? So if they said, hey, we're printing money, that may not sound as good to people, right? Like quantitative easing, it sounds like some smart people thought up some things and they're doing smart things because they went to school for smart people things.
That's the other part. No. A lot of folks have that sort of brainwash, that fog that they're in, where they think that the people in charge are much smarter than they are.
These are people who failed at doing anything productive in life, so they became politicians. Yeah. And if you think that the people who are in charge of the Federal Reserve aren't politicians, those are absolutely political positions.
Yeah.
So they're powerful political positions, no doubt. Those who control the money, basically control everything. I don't know if it was Rothschild or whoever that's famous for saying that, but he's right. And there's no reason to overcomplicate this. It doesn't matter what they do. If they print money, it's going to devalue the rest of the money. You don't need a degree in economics to figure this out.
Is simple. It's supply and demand.
Right. You supply more money, well, guess what? The value of money drops.
Right.
And it doesn't have anything to do with, he uses the term, controlling the value of wealth. You're misusing the term wealth. Wealth is like a total amount of value. It's not. Money isn't wealth. It's just an indicator of a fraction of the wealth that you have. Wealth is so much more than money. It's the ability to do things, the ability to, air conditioning is wealth, right?
Freedom to me is wealth.
Freedom is wealth. The ability to be able to walk away from a responsibility that you have and have that thing keep going without you having to do much about it. That's wealth. There's so much in this world that is wealth, and money is just a fraction of it. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. You can share your thoughts. Get on the lines with us here. Take control of the airwaves on Free Talk Live's Live Saturday Show.
Such a beautiful little puppy. We walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies, grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
And Cindy Lukasevic.
inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Live Saturday edition. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And the artist currently known as Captain Kickass.
And have you heard of Caleb Jones? He's the creator of Alpha Male 2.0. You can listen to the replay of the webinar with Caleb that is complete with Q&A at alpha.freetalklive.com. Caleb has taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create location-independent income and date women under their terms. He asks questions like, 1, what good is living in a free society if you don't live a free life? 2, have you ever wanted to work when you wanted to work instead of having to report to an office? 3, have you ever felt trapped by relationship rules like monogamy? To some, what Caleb teaches is controversial. However, he's not creating sound bites for shock value. He believes deeply in the Alpha 2.0 way of life, and he wants to help you be more than just a beta male, or even more, than an alpha male. He wants to help you become an alpha male 2.0. You can listen to the replay of the live webinar with Caleb on demand and complete with Q&A at alpha.freetalklive.com. That's alpha.freetalklive.com. We go back to your calls and thoughts. We're talking about the Federal Reserve injecting at least $425 billion into the economy by the middle of next month. The story from Cointelegraph.com. We haven't really gotten into it because we're going to your phone calls first. That's what's most important. So we go back to it. We have Larry in Indianapolis. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and
How you doing
Captain
now,
Kickass.
boys?
Hey, Larry, go ahead.
Hey, look, you guys talk about all this money and stuff. There's no use in us worried about a national debt. There's nothing we can do to solve that problem. Here's what I'm talking about. When we talk about China, they already have an economic war going on with us when they send fentanyl over here and they give their businesses a tax break for producing fentanyl in laboratories right out in the open in China and serving it up in our country every day. So I just, that's the more important subject. But what I call about, I've been throwing up lately, right? Because there's so much talk. Not literally.
Oh, okay.
We were concerned.
I was worried about you there.
Yeah, we were concerned for your health.
What I'm seeing, no, I'm pretty healthy. But anytime I'm seeing a campaign now because of grant money, right? Somebody has gotten grant money to deal with suicide, teen suicide. More and more commercials. The airways being flooded with commercials. Now the final straw. They actually have a training session to train you how to spot somebody who's getting ready to commit suicide so you can turn them into a therapist. And the police will go and pick them up and make them get therapy. So it's just sick, and they talk about sex trafficking, right? Don't say about sex trafficking. Don't do it, okay? But then you got pornography, right? Then you got the contacts where some 14, 15-year-old girl is watching porn, right? And she says, well, I like to get into this. They got the contacts you can get to get right in there. So
hold on. Slow down a second here. Wait. Where do teenagers go when they want to get into porn? Because I'm pretty sure that's not legal. Like, what are you saying?
They go to Pornhub. They go to Pornhub.
Pornhub?
And what they find... Pornhub, and what what Pornhub is.
It's a website, yeah. What are you saying?
Here's what it is. Now, I didn't know. I used to watch porn a lot myself. I don't do it no more.
Okay.
But the thing if I can help it. But the thing about it is,
there's the disclaimer.
The thing about it is, this has really gotten people out. They have the pictures of young girls having porn, right? Then they interview them and say, "Where'd you come from? How'd you get hooked up with porn?" They tell how they done it and everything else. So, Harvey Weinstein and them, they try to act like they were so bad and everything. They was laying money down, getting girls to come and do things they wanted to do with them. And it keep on going on. You're going there talking about how to deal with women if you want to. The way to do that is pay up front. That ain't no secret. And another thing, if you have a job, I never had a regular job except my last job I had.
Larry, I'm still not sure what you're getting at here tonight. I mean, it sounds like you're rambling about teenagers joining Pornhub.
So much, but what I'm talking about,
I'm pretty sure Pornhub isn't going to allow a 14-year-old girl on their website knowingly.
Yeah,
I mean,
they got scenarios and they have actors acting like that. That's why these.
Oh,
men
you're
are
saying
going
they're over 18,
yes.
but they're acting so like barely legal. I gotcha.
That's right. Yeah, all that stuff. You know the titles, don't you? But anyway, in any case, let's just level with each other. They are trying to say stop sex trafficking. And they got sex trafficking going on right on Pornhub and all the other.
No, that's not sex trafficking. That's just porn.
No, it's not. It's acting.
If it's acting, it's not sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is the forcible forcing human beings into sexual service of other human beings, with or without pay. It's force.
That's the bottom line.
That's not what you're going to see on Pornhub is not going to allow video of sex trafficking on their website if they find out that that's what it is.
They have actors that portray it that way, but
maybe they do. That's not sex trafficking. That's just acting.
And most people are going to not draw that line when you're.
When the plumber has sex with the bored housewife in a porno, that doesn't mean that every plumber is having sex with bored housewives. I mean, it may be more common than you think, but I don't know. I'm not either of those things.
I mean,
cleaning pipes.
We have really gutted our kids out. They don't have a chance. I mean, we done sold them out. And, I was at a city council meeting the other night here in Indianapolis. What they've done in the state of Indiana.
Well, you know how to have a good time.
Well, yeah, go there to Channel 16. You'll see the speech.
I've been to enough damn city council meetings. I'm sure I'll go to another one, but my God, they're boring. What were you there for?
I brightened it up because there were a couple of issues I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about where the state of Indiana have a statute now where they consider juveniles, juveniles to be wards of the federal government. They've transferred that guardianship, and all their courts are operating in that manner. So if you have what you call a guardian ad litem, she can take a 13-year-old into court and have him convicted of a federal felony. So
well, that doesn't sound like a good thing.
In jail.
Larry, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Just to be clear, human sex trafficking is a crime that doesn't have anything to do with legal pornography.
Right.
Usually sex traffickers don't want their victims to be publicized, so I don't think that they would typically record video of them engaging in. Number one, their clients don't want to be publicized. Number two, their victims, they don't want them publicized because they're usually being looked for by law enforcement or their family members, private investigators, things like that. So they usually want to keep that stuff on the down low if they're going to be sex trafficking people. So I don't think those two worlds, I mean, by no means am I an expert in either of them, but I'm pretty sure those two worlds don't tend to cross over very often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the subject of sex trafficking other than it's disgusting. Obviously.
It's sex slavery. I mean,
but the difference between sex trafficking and Pornhub is consent and it being voluntary.
And it's voluntary and consensual when people get involved in pornography. And if it's not, then it's a crime. Correct. Because then you're forcing somebody to do something against their will, whether they're underage or whether they're of age. If there's force involved, it should be a crime. So the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Daniel. He's in North Dakota listening to KNOX.
Sweet.
Hello, Daniel.
Well, it has nothing to do with what I called in for, but in reference to your last caller.
Yes, sir.
I know in some states, if not all states, it's illegal to pose as an underage, as a minor, if you're doing pornography.
You can't even do cosplay?
As a minor. No. It's illegal to act as a minor.
It's illegal to, just to be clear, you're saying it's illegal for someone who's over the age of 18 to pretend as though they are under the age of 18?
Yes.
Really?
That's my understanding. I know I think California passed a law.
Wow.
That said that.
Interesting.
And
okay.
It should be illegal.
Why?
Because all you're doing is getting perverse Jolly Rogers off.
Oh, so they can't do that without your help, right?
Okay. Anyway,
no, I don't think it should be. I don't think pretending should be illegal, dude. Pretending should not be illegal. Yeah. Come on. But stand by. You were calling about something else, so we'll bring you back here, Daniel.
Right.
Stand by. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Pretend is just a fantasy. And if you disagree with the fantasy, well, that's fine. But just because you have a disagreement with someone's fantasy doesn't mean they belong in jail. There's more coming up here in moments.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into their rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait now. Wait a minute.
Holy crap.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. The toll-free number for you, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. Tonight, it's Ian.
Peter Griffin. Sorry, it's Captain Kickass.
HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com, Captain Kickass. That's where you want to go if you're a business owner, or just an individual who wants to make it easier to take cryptocurrency from customers that you might have. Maybe you go and you perform a service. You go to people's houses and do a thing for them, clean the house, or you're a plumber, or whatever it is you do. And you go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. That is, if the woman of the house isn't paying you in some other way, as we were discussing earlier. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com will allow you to accept Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, or Dash at your point of sale. And it's being used a lot in New Hampshire, also Thailand. Bangkok's a fairly big place for HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com and the AnyPay app.
Nice.
Yep. In fact, AnyPay's got a pretty cool little map that actually shows you where the businesses are on the planet that are using AnyPay. It's still a new company. I mean, so you're not going to see spots everywhere, but the places where they are, they're active, and people are using AnyPay. That's what the company is that's doing HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. You don't have to jump through any ridiculous hoops to get started. You just download the AnyPay app for iOS or Android devices. There's also a web version as well. So pretty much anybody can use this thing. You set it up by putting your cryptocurrency wallet addresses in the back end of the software, and then all your crypto payments just goes straight to your crypto wallet. It's super easy. You don't have to fill out paperwork. You don't have to wait on some bureaucrat to make a decision. You don't have to pay any kind of fees. If you're ready to start accepting cryptocurrency, you're just minutes away from doing it. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. If you've already got a tablet or a smartphone at your point of sale, you're almost done. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. They'll walk you through the process there. We go back to Daniel in North Dakota listening to KNOX. There. Go ahead, Daniel.
All right. So, in my opinion, when it comes to saving your money, if you want your money safe and secure, you skip the stock market, you skip your 401k and the banks and all that, put your money into guns and gold.
Okay.
I don't believe we're looking at an immediate recession coming up, but guns and gold will always be safe worldwide, globally.
Well, except for if the government comes along to try to confiscate them. I mean, and there have been a couple of instances where that's actually happened.
Well, yeah, supposedly West Virginia is going to institute the National Guard to go door to door to institute their assault weapons ban.
Is that happening in West Virginia? I have not heard about this.
It was on the radio 2 days ago, I suppose.
Whoa.
I heard on the radio where they're talking about it. They're not doing it.
Okay.
All right.
But they're talking about it.
Well, they should stop talking about it and never do it.
Yeah, definitely. All that's going to happen, you're going to get a standoff and end up with a war on your hands, more or less.
Now, what did they do back? Does anybody know how they did the gold confiscation back in the day? Did they actually go door to door, or was it just like, all right, turn it in? We want your gold.
Well, the way that it was instituted was bullion became property of the U.S. government, period.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had raw gold, you could still own raw gold and sell it.
What's the difference?
That's the way I understand.
I should know this. But
bullion is melted down and put in a brick, is purified, got all the impurities out.
I see. So if you just had like a hunk of gold that you just took out of a mountain or something like that.
Right. If I went to South Dakota, panned for gold, and I got me a chunk, then that's raw gold versus it's melted down and all. Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
I see. Hey, look, I don't disagree with you. I'm just kind of calling some of the points that could be made against what you're saying. I think that it's definitely true. Guns tend to hold value, right? Yeah. They're in short supply, and if the S hits the fan, people are going to want them.
Ammunition specifically,
ammo
too.
for sure. Yeah, it's easier to trade that.
I own a gun that was worth. It cost $55 in 1944 when it was made.
Yeah.
Right now, it's worth $450.
Okay,
nice.
That's not bad.
And I know that ammunition specifically has been used as currency too.
Yes.
This is where the term "shot" comes from. When you go to the bar, I'd like a shot of whiskey, please.
Oh.
It's because they would trade one bullet, one shot for that particular size pour of whiskey.
Wow.
And I learned this a few years ago, and I saw it repeated on my favorite science fiction television show that I'm spoiling for anybody right now, called The Expanse, where
you're wearing the t-shirt right now.
I am. This is the Ross Sinante t-shirt for those of you viewing us on Twitch and DLive. I'm wearing a t-shirt, but one of the characters was at the bar in this faraway galaxy or what have you, and he was putting down one bullet for every shot that the bartender was pouring. And I'm like, that's accurate.
Wow, very cool. And of course,
that
gold.
Is very interesting.
And gold has historically been a great hedge against inflation, as we talked about earlier. People value gold for good reasons. It's not fiat like we were talking about with government money, where the government forces you to accept it. Gold is money is valuable because it's useful, because people, not only is it pretty to look at, but it's also useful in various industrial applications. So it will, as time continues on, continue to likely be useful. And because it's in short supply and no one's figured out how to make gold from nothing, or just from atoms or whatever.
Can't 3D print it yet.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If you consider guns into the factor, then even if your gun loses value, if you have ammo, it still has value.
Yeah, that's true. And ammo's a lot easier to trade than guns. I mean, if you've got a gun, you may not want to trade the gun away for a chicken, but you may be able to trade away some ammunition for something like that. Thank you, Daniel, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Now, gold I've always liked, precious metals. Before cryptocurrency came along in 2009 with the introduction of Bitcoin, here on Free Talk Live, we've always been big fans of alternative currencies. Oh, yeah. I was one of the what they call it, associates with the Liberty Dollar, which was kind of like the biggest alternative currency. Bernard von Nothaus,
yeah, that guy,
the creator of that. Yeah, I was one of the associates for that. So I had a bunch of the Liberty Dollars and was trying to get people to accept the Liberty Dollar, but it was not easy to get people to
and you see those things pop up from time to time, not necessarily the Liberty Dollar, but like communities sometimes they'll have their own community buck.
Yeah, kind of so the Ithaca Hour would be a good example of that. That was one of the first ones of what you're talking about. The problem with the Ithaca Hour and the similar ones, there's the Mountain Hours in, I think, Colorado, and there's... What's the one in Western Massachusetts? There's one in the Western Mass.
Well, and I was...
The Berkshires.
Oh, yeah, the Berkshires, right. I was at a strip club some time ago, and they encouraged you to use your credit or debit card to pay instead of using cash. Mm-hmm. And so what they did is they created their own currency called Beaver Bucks. Right? Yeah, I know. And, instead of getting 10 for $10, you'd get like 12 for $10, right? So they give you a couple of more than what you would if you just brought in cash, right? And that's to encourage you to pay their like $3 fee to use the credit card machine or what have you, whatever they charge on top of that, right? So, and it's what you think it is, right? Somebody just invented this black and white currency. They printed it on the printer in the office of the strip club, right? They cut them out by hand, right? They probably had the girls in back, like slicing paper, that kind of a thing. But
the problem with
it was interesting that they invented their own currency within their business.
This is common. I mean, that is what a coupon basically is. Yeah. It's private currency. Your Disney bucks or whatever. These are private currencies.
Camel bucks, the old cigarettes, right? The camel dollars.
Stuff. That's all legal. It's all totally legal for you to come up with something like that. But the problem with the Ithaca Hour and these other ones is that anyone can print, the central manager of this currency can inflate the supply as they want. So the problem is the same as the U.S. government. Also, they usually base them on the government currency as well. So with the Ithaca Hour, which was a success. It started, I believe, in the 1970s. It was one guy who, got this idea out there, and 1 hour was worth $10. And what he would do is he would recruit businesses to pay their employees, or at least offer to pay their employees in the hours, and then other businesses were offering to accept them as payment and so on and so forth. And if a business signed up, they would get some hours from this guy. He would just issue them free money. And that was another problem, right? Because he's just issuing this currency. Well, how much of it is he issuing? Well, you have to believe him on whatever he says the answer to that question is. Right. So, maybe he was honest.
It's a cool idea.
Well, it's an okay idea. Yeah. It's just, maybe he was honest, or maybe he wasn't. Right. And you don't really know because you can't really independently audit him, because how do you know he didn't print money out and put it under the table when he shows you the books or whatever? Like, you don't know.
We should mention the Utah Goldbacks, though.
I was intending to mention the Utah Goldbacks. So Goldbacks are pretty cool. They're not a sponsor, but I would love them to be. Utah Goldback, just look it up. I think it's Goldbacks or goldback.com.
Yeah,
I'm not sure which one. But they've made it so you can actually take gold and pay people with it. And because you can't give somebody an ounce of gold unless you're buying a car from them or something like that, right? Like buying something, you cannot buy a newspaper with an ounce of gold. There's no way somebody's going to make change for that. But now the Goldback people have come up with easily spendable, beautiful, foldable, like you can manipulate these things.
Put them in your wallet like a regular bill.
Yeah. But they're way prettier, and they're as small as $3 worth of gold. It's amazing. I've got them in my wallet right now. Hour 3's coming up.
Ever wanted to hook up with an attractive woman, but you couldn't because you were already in a relationship? Ever wanted to earn high income on low work hours? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low work, high income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,476, silver at $16.94, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,236. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, drug recognition experts are arresting innocent sober people for DUI at an alarming rate, all based on a hunch. According to ABC 15 Arizona, stone-cold sober drivers in Phoenix, Arizona are getting DUIs and have to spend thousands of dollars proving their innocence. It seems the source of the misunderstandings and illegitimate arrests come from drug recognition experts. Those are cops with badges and fancy titles who claim they can look at a motorist and on observation alone determine if someone is impaired. Activists post reports that testimony from DREs often holds up in court without so much as a failed breathalyzer or a dirty toxicology report showing alcohol and drugs in someone's system. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Oakland City Council President Rebecca Kaplan recently suggested a plan to house up to 1,000 people from the city's homeless population on a cruise ship. But officials with the Port of Oakland have disputed the proposal, calling it untenable. The Mind Unleashed reports that during a recent meeting, Kaplan told members of the city council that she has already been in contact with cruise ship companies about the possibility of using their vessels for emergency housing for the city's homeless. Kaplan suggested that the ship could work similarly to the Queen Mary in Long Beach, a large old ship that is now docked in the harbor, acting as a hotel for tourists and other visitors to the area. Many members of the council are on board with the proposal, but it would need to be approved by the Port of Oakland, and they seem reluctant to allow such a cruise ship to dock in their port for an extended period of time. Mike Zampa, a spokesman for the port, told the Chronicle that Oakland's port was designed for cargo ships, not cruise ships. Oakland has seen a huge spike in homelessness over the past 2 years, with the number of people on the street rising from 1,902 to 3,210. For years, professional athletes have been subjected to drug tests that screen for cannabis. The Major League Baseball organization has now announced their new drug testing policies and associated penalties. Until now, the MLB was one of the few major sporting leagues that did not test its players for recreational drugs. While they did have an official list of banned substances for many years, they only actually tested their players for performance-enhancing drugs. The Mind Unleashed reports that's all going to change this year when they begin to test their players for cocaine and opiates. However, the league says that cannabis will be removed from their list of banned drugs and will be considered a recreational substance like alcohol. One ironic twist is that synthetic cannabis compounds will be screened for and treated as an abusive substance, as such chemicals have been known to be very harmful. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
We've got Today Now's medical expert, Dr. Kareem Mazari, here to give us some tips on how to convince a stubborn little guy to take off his Spider-Man costume and start wearing normal clothes so people don't think he's a weirdo. And also joining us is my son Spencer, still dressed as Spider-Man. Spencer?
Hi, Mom. I find the best thing to do is to try and have a dialogue with your child. Now, Spencer, why won't you take your costume off?
Because then people will know my true identity.
You're not even wearing the mask! People already know who you are!
Well, bargaining can work. Explain to your child.
Is it not enough that I say take off the Spider-Man costume? Now I've got to bargain with my own child? Jesus Christ!
You know,
Spencer, sit down. Sit down. Do you want to be put in the silence trunk again? You don't like the silence trunk, do you?
Okay.
I'm Spider-Man! I'm Spider-Man!
Spencer, sit down right now. Sit down, you little face, or I will break the rest of your toys on purpose. Do you understand me?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're talking about money, the real stuff, and the government stuff.
That's right.
With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
The Reverend Captain Kickass.
And Captain Kickass, did I hear you got a new website URL?
You did hear that, actually. It's true. We were talking about how my websites aren't really, I don't have like an easy, memorable.
It was a bit of a mouthful previously.
So I spent $8 and I got lcaptainkickass.com.
As in El Capitan, like the Spanish L.
As in Spanish for the or the.
Yeah, lcaptainkickass.com.
lcaptainkickass.com.
And it's up. It works right now. People can go there.
I have it redirected to my parody project.
Sweet.
On the Bandcamp site. So, yeah, if you want to check out some funny songs that I make, go to lcaptainkickass.com. I hope to update that in the future, but who knows?
It's a good start.
We'll see.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. It makes it a lot easier on the air. Shorter is better, isn't it?
That's not what she said.
All right, we continue here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We'll get into this story about the Federal Reserve printing out $425 billion into the economy. But first, we go back to your phone calls and thoughts. And we have Matthew in Louisiana. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and the Captain. Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. So I was listening to the first caller that y'all had before I had to go and get something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And it occurs to me that he should be just delighted with what the evil orange man's doing, because the evil orange man's like breaking campaign promises.
Okay, what was the caller? I'm sorry, which caller are you talking about?
The guy who was all upset with Assange and because Assange helped Donald Trump get elected. Well, I mean...
okay, Jerome.
Yeah, so, he's currently going to be granting amnesty before we get a wall built to some number of farm laborers. He's instituted real gun control with his bump stock ban. Even Obama didn't do that. He hasn't gotten rid of the allowing the members of the armed forces to carry arms while on duty. He hasn't gotten rid of that part, the gun-free military base thing.
Right, which just resulted in another shooting in Florida, last week?
Yeah, last week. And the week before that, there was another one somewhere else, I forget where. And he hasn't gotten rid of these subsidies for the bird-chopping windmills or the solar panels. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about either one of those.
I'm against subsidies, generally.
Right, but
when
he hasn't
provided by
got rid of the subsidies for those.
But I'm pro-solar panel.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a solar panel, you should have solar panels. I mean, that's cool. I mean, alternatives are interesting. We need alternatives to be developed, so competition is, out there and, encouraging people to do the best they can with these different sources. But subsidizing one industry over another or one part of an industry over another, that's a problem when you're doing politically.
Well, and I say the solar power thing just specifically so people can free themselves from the state and city-sponsored utilities that exist in the world, the monopolies that they hold over geographic areas.
Unless you're forced to connect to the utility, because in some places you can have your solar panels, but you have to connect to the public utility, and then you have to sell them the power.
That's because you receive a government subsidies for your solar panel.
Oh, they wouldn't do that to someone who wasn't subsidized? Because I've heard that there's some areas where you just have to connect. They will make you connect. If you want to build a house, you've got to connect.
Your mileage will vary.
Okay.
From state to state.
Because I know here in Keene, New Hampshire, if you want to build a house in Keene, you have to connect to the sewage system.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard of places. Well, I mean, that's that way here in Jefferson Parish too. But we have a different situation. We have a water table that's about 4 feet down.
That sounds like the South.
So it just seems to me that if Jerome really wanted to affect Donald Trump's chances of re-election, he should start to praise Donald Trump for all the wonderful things that he's done, breaking campaign promises.
There you go, Matthew. Thanks for sharing your thoughts tonight, man. I appreciate it, dude. I mean, toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Mike Freedom.
That's all presidents, at least in my lifetime, when they're on the campaign trail, they spout a whole bunch of crap.
Oh, yeah.
And none of it comes true.
And they're doing the same thing now.
So many things. Trump said a bunch of stuff that he didn't do.
Yep.
Obama said a bunch of stuff he didn't do. Bush said a bunch of stuff he didn't do.
And everybody still worships them.
Yeah, and depending on what side you're on, right? They're your candidate du jour.
They look past it. The fans of that particular party look past all the broken promises, and they still look fondly upon
They don't remember
people.
them for some reason.
Sure.
It's weird how people just conveniently forget the promises that were made by the people who eventually become elected.
Yep.
As soon as they're elected, he didn't say. I can cite some mindless Obamatons that I know are like, he never said that, and then I play them the recording. Look here,
yes,
here
he
said it. Same thing with Trump. Look, here's the recording. He said, and they're like,
but he did all these other things.
Mindless
blah, blah,
Obamatons, Trumpansies. They're just different sides of the same coin.
Let's go to Rob. He's in Vermont. Rob, you still there? Go ahead.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Good. You're on the air.
Good, Rob.
All right. So, I've been listening to the people, calling in. It's obvious that, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, it's all played out. It's done. And, the only way we're going to be able to, I believe, solve this is a 3 or 4 or 5 voting party system. And, that was tried in 1993 with Ross Perot. But
they got rid of him real fast.
They did. And I think that what people need to focus on is, getting a third party, like maybe Gary Johnson or Vernon Supreme or for that matter, Tommy Chong would be an inspired choice.
Tommy Chong.
Far out, man. One of the things that is the toughest part for these third parties, and I have been involved with the Libertarians for a long time, is it's hard to get ballot access, and the Republicans and the Democrats have made it hard on purpose. When Ross Perot had the level of impact that he did back in 92, or I think it was 92-ish, did they pay attention, and they made sure to make things much harder. They made it harder for third parties to get into the debates after Perot, because they didn't want to have to go up against any new ideas. They didn't want to have to go up against any people who were innovators with fresh concepts.
They were all, oh crap, we can't let this happen again.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think you're wrong about this, Rob, but it is one of the biggest challenges for third parties is to just get noticed, to get on the ballot, and even if they can get on the ballot, then they have to cross the thresholds of getting into the debates, which are purposefully, in many cases, set at levels that are unattainable. And the people who are creating the debates, they know it. And I'm not just talking about at a presidential level, although it's true there, right, but I'm also talking about at like a gubernatorial level or state senate and things like that. It's just harder for the third parties to get in there. And I wish it were different. But the Republicans and Democrats, if there's one thing they agree on, it's they don't want any competition.
Right, exactly, but they need this competition, and it's much more than that, because those parties, they're all nothing but a bunch of lying bastards, and they know that they can get away with this. But if we can get a third party, let's just say we get Gary Johnson in 2020, I think what should happen is that all Democrats and all Republicans, they should all be charged with treason.
Hey, Rob, thanks for the call tonight, man. I definitely appreciate it, although I don't really have any hope or interest in seeing Gary Johnson in 2020. He was an awful candidate for the Libertarians. I'm not going to say he was the worst candidate they've ever had. That would probably be Bob Barr, at least as far as the presidential levels are concerned. They've had some pretty god-awful candidates at their state levels. But Gary Johnson wasn't much of a real libertarian, and I say good riddance to him. I mean, he was a very nice man.
Well, and I mean, outside of Ron Paul, right, has there ever been a quote, real, unquote, libertarian candidate?
Oh, yeah, Harry Brown in 1996 and 2000. I'm a Harry Brown libertarian. He's the guy that brought me into the party.
I know Kokesh threw his, hat in the ring.
Kokesh is pretty principled.
But I mean, like, as far as the party is concerned,
I'm not sure what you mean.
The final candidate, right? I know Gary Johnson. Harry Brown, yeah.
1996 and 2000.
All right.
That's he was fantastic. Great communicator too. He really was great at communicating the ideas of freedom. There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Have you ever wanted to work when you wanted to work instead of having to report to an office? Have you ever felt trapped by relationship rules like monogamy? I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free, live, on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free here and bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And with you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian here.
And Captain Kickass.
And of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind. And again, you can also connect to our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. Want to let you know about Bitcoin.com. It's a great site to go to kind of get started in the world of cryptocurrency. But if you're not just getting started and you want to get the latest news headlines, they've got that over there as well. Plus, local.bitcoin.com allows you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash with dozens of payment methods. It's a global trading platform that actually respects your privacy. And that pretty much makes it unique, from what I can tell, amongst a lot of these Bitcoin cryptocurrency sales websites. This is Bitcoin Cash only over at local.bitcoin.com, but there's no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So get on over there. You can buy Bitcoin Cash. It's relatively safe to be a buyer, especially if you're buying from sellers that have a reputation. That's, you really don't have much to worry about. If you're a seller, you do need to be a little more cautious. Take some time, do some research on the payment methods you're looking at accepting. Some of them are risky. Very risky, so keep that in mind over at local.bitcoin.com. Our co-host Aria on Monday nights, she's the #1 seller there on that site, which is pretty awesome.
She's kicking ass, as it were.
She really is. Over at local.bitcoin.com. As we go back to your calls and thoughts, you can bring up what you want here. Let's talk to Graham in Pennsylvania, listening to WNAE in Warren. Go ahead, Graham.
No, it's Graham.
I'm sorry, that's what I thought I said. Go ahead, Graham.
Oh, okay. Yeah, calling about the $400 billion Federal Reserve cash infusion.
$425 billion to be specific.
Oh, who's counting? Go ahead.
400. Well, that much money, the way I look at it, it's just one group of mafia and the government just basically giving another government, political, economic mafia a favor. And the money's just going to get pocketed on their own pet projects or be embezzled somehow.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. In fact, whenever new money is injected into the economy, and I'm speaking specifically of the United States economy right now, the realization of that money first is realized by those with the most amount of wealth. Right. So by the time, any
politically connected.
Yes. And by the time any sort of positive effect from that, gets down to the common person, it's already gone. there is no positive effect, right?
No.
The folks,
it's a dilution of value.
right?
It's not
The
positive.
folks at the top have already, because it takes a minute for that you have to factor in the time, right? So the money gets injected, poof, okay, it's there, and all of a sudden people can go and spend money like as if it were worth what it is currently. But then by the time it filters down to the common person, that time has expired, the money supply has inflated, and your dollar is now worth less.
Yeah. Basically, all politics aside, I think the higher up you get into whatever society, whatever field of industry, the people at the top, as far as I'm concerned, are just amoral opportunists who use things like politics and religion and isms and ideologies to distract the rest of us, while the people at top are just amorally pocketing trillions of dollars for whatever project they want to get done.
I think there's been a study done that CEOs are more likely to be sociopaths than pretty much any other job, and besides politicians.
Yeah,
politicians.
I heard about
CEO,
that too.
Cops. Yeah. So I think you're right about that, Graham. Thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts tonight. I do appreciate hearing from you. And coming back around to Harry Browne, the Libertarian Party's presidential candidate in the year 1996 and 2000. One of the things I loved about him is he didn't candy coat things. Like, he was such a great communicator. He'd boiled down. He actually published a book. He actually has several books that he's published, but one of them was, I think, called Liberty A to Z, like quick sound bites, basically, for every issue. So if somebody were to bring up an issue and he's on an interview or whatever with the media, you got to keep your answer short, because they're only going to put you on for 15 seconds, right? So he had really boiled down some really effective answers to things. So like he mentioned the mafia, reminded me that Harry Browne described the government as the mafia that flies flags in front of its offices.
Right. Very nice. I mean, I didn't sort of wake up from the fog of statism until about a decade ago.
Yeah, so you missed him.
So 96 and, well, even 2000 to some extent. You know what I mean?
Too early for you.
Yeah, too early for me. I kind of ignored politics. So, vicariously, I might have been anarchist or whatever, but it wasn't until I really went on the hunt to finally determine where do I fall on the political spectrum that I really discovered libertarianism and anarchism, and the philosophies of freedom.
He was originally an investment advisor, and he wrote some investing books back in like the 70s or whatever. Really just a really smart guy and a good communicator. He paved the way for Free Talk Live in a lot of ways. I mean, beyond just being the libertarian that sort of is responsible for me becoming a libertarian in a way, through his book that he wrote, Why Government Doesn't Work, which was the first libertarian book I ever read. But also he had his own radio show. He did a Saturday night radio show that was actually, I believe it started at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Huh. And he was on the Genesis Communications Network, which is the same network that airs Free Talk Live. And I was, at the time, working at a radio station in Florida. We had Free Talk Live. The show had been created already, but we weren't syndicated at that point. And I had contacted the radio station where I was working. I was kind of like the board op, but they didn't really have a program director, so I came to the general manager of the station, being a fan of Harry Browne, and I liked his show. I said, hey, can we get this guy on our station? He said, yeah, sure, do what you got to do. So I reached out to Genesis Communications Network, and I said, hey, we want to pick up the Harry Browne show. And while I had him on the phone, I said, hey, are you guys looking for any programming? And they said, sure, send us a demo. Nice. So we ended up doing the show before Harry Browne, which is the one you're listening to now, Saturday night. We're still in the same spot. Yeah. Harry Browne passed away about a decade ago. Yeah. So he absolutely paved the way for Free Talk Live.
That's an interesting tidbit on the genesis of Free Talk Live.
Yep. All right, let's go on here. We got Robert in Texas. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Robert.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
So I am usually a somewhat follower of your show. I will say now that my political position, I would not call it anarcho-capitalist right now.
I wouldn't call mine either. I think those are terrible words.
But what I would like to ask is that on the libertarian scale or at least on the political scale of libertarians, are usually right-wing economically and libertarian socially, and that's all fine and good. But what I want to ask the question of is the thing about systems of power in our current world today, I would call that more as a result of capitalism. The thing about capitalism, whether or not it's state-controlled like the communists or by a free market, the thing what capitalism does is it will always prioritize the exploitation of the common man. And even in an anarcho-capitalist society, what I see happening is that any kind of free market would always put the exploitation of the people first.
Stand by. Let's talk about exploitation here. And, this capitalism is not a term that I particularly care for myself. So we'll get into it, and I'm curious to see how you feel about it, Captain Kickass. Here in moments, our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here. It is Free Talk Live. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and Fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Saturday edition. You're invited to join us on the radio, and you can take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. It's 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian.
And the captain.
I want to invite you to forkfest.party. That's fork with an F. Forkfest.party. You can go to that website to learn a little bit more about Forkfest, which is a decentralized libertarian camping festival. What does it mean for a festival to be decentralized? It means there's no organizer. There's no central, board of directors making decisions about things. It also means that it's kind of up to you to figure out what's going to happen at Forkfest. So each individual, well, you are the organizer of your own life. And so if you want to organize a thing for other people to come and enjoy, maybe on your campsite, because it's, as I said, a camping festival. There's RV sites, there's camping sites, there's even a motel on the property. So if you want to encourage people to come by and let's say, you want to put a poker game together under a tent with a poker table. Cool, you can do that. You want to start serving food to people? Great. Just don't ask permission, okay? Don't go and talk to the government about it. Just go and do it. Maybe you want to put on a musical event. Maybe you want to put on a speaker series. Maybe you just want to hang out at a campfire. So it's totally up to you what you want to do at Forkfest. And that's part of the fun, is seeing what the market comes up with. What is it that people create? What is it that they are offering? And it was really a lot of fun this year. This year was the third year of Forkfest. It is a festival that sprung off from, or forked off of, a different festival called the Porcupine Freedom Festival. And previously, in the last 3 years, it has happened before rather. It has happened before the Porcupine Freedom Festival. In 2020, for the first year, it will be after the Porcupine Freedom Festival. So Porkfest, or the Porcupine Freedom Festival, will be leading in to Forkfest in 2020, and we expect that's going to be a bit of a different setup. It's, I think, going to be even more successful. And that also means that ours happens a little bit later in the year. So it's now going to be June 29th until July 5th, which means that Forkfest 2020 will also include Independence Day and fireworks. So you ought to go to forkfest.party to learn more about the event. There's a couple of ways you can connect with other Forkfesters, like the Forkfest Telegram chat room, and there's also a Forkfest forum. So if you want to kind of organize things with people voluntarily, you can do that in advance. It's a pretty cool thing. I like it. We'll be there. Free Talk Live will be broadcasting. Captain Kickass, you'll be there for the first time ever, likely.
Gonna pop my cherry.
Very cool. All right, so forkfest.party. Go and check that out and join us next summer for that. As we go back to Robert in Texas, he was calling about capitalism. And Robert, can you kind of recap what you were saying there about exploitation? Do we have Robert? Yes.
Oh, yeah, yes. Hello?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
So what I believe, how the capitalist system currently functions in the world is what it does is, especially in a post-industrial revolution society, what capitalism prioritizes is an exploitation of culture industry. It prioritizes exploitation of a man's labor hour. And
when you say exploitation, what do you mean?
It extracts the surplus value of a man's labor, his culture, his identity from him, and it feeds into this machine, this perpetual machine of elites over us who want to basically turn us into a country of debt slaves.
So what is, if this is what capitalism's definition is, and the people have different ideas about what capitalism means, then I fully oppose what you're talking about. I like the idea of a free marketplace. What do you think about that?
I mean, the eventual result of any free marketplace where, at first you can start any kind of free marketplace. There will not be any significant power structures in that marketplace. Mm-hmm. But the inevitable result of capitalism, and really any kind of system like that, is the power will always flow to the top, and it will always result in the...
Well, hold on. What is capitalism, then?
Well, let's just
I want to hear his definition.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
What capitalism is it is the I guess the textbook definition would be the free flow of money. But in a society, what I see is that usually in a society of more than like 100 people, this free flow of money eventually creates a system where the system itself, to preserve itself by continual growth, it will always.
So what you're describing, and Captain, I know you want to share a definition as well, but what you're describing doesn't sound like a free market to me, because a free market is where anyone can start up the business that they want to start without having to ask anyone's permission, and they can compete with the other businesses out there. What you sound like you're describing is sort of this crony capitalist system that we have today, where because of government regulations and government control and violence, these mega corporations are able to aggregate more power to themselves, which is, of course, as you've already pointed out correctly, a corrupting influence, and they're able to wield that power over the little guy by preventing the little guy from competing. Because right now, there's a lot of people who might think to themselves, I want to start my own business. And then they go and they look into it, and they find out how difficult it is. Not because it's hard to start your own business. It's easy to start your own business. You just start offering, hang out your shingle, start offering your product or service for sale, and, give good customer service, and you'll probably be all right. But if you have to do it in a regulated environment, then these mega corporations create regulations with the government to protect themselves from competitors like you, like the little guy, and they create things like licensing laws and hoops to jump through and bribes to pay and regulations to obey, which drive away competition, which of course ensconces these big mega competitor types in the market. But Captain Kickass, what is your dictionary there? What do you got?
I did what the common man would do, and I went to the Googs, and I typed in capitalism, and the most common definition is noun, an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. Which, if you have a political system, that is the state. So it's a contrary definition.
Screwy definition. I don't support capitalism because, one, I still don't really know what it means, because people are constantly disagreeing about it. But I do support freedom, and I don't see where the bad part about a free market is, or how anything can be aggregated, as far as power is concerned, without total voluntary consent in a truly free marketplace. What are your thoughts on that, Robert?
Well, you guys do bring up some very good points, and I actually do find myself agreeing with a good few of them. But what I kind of want to know your opinion on is what is your thoughts on America right after the revolution? I imagine you think it was a country where the free market was above all else. I mean, you still had the Constitution, your inalienable rights, but the government mostly stayed out of, business economics and that kind of thing. But what happened after, America started expanding, getting bigger, these businesses popped up in this new America. And this really gets into the Industrial Revolution. Is what happened is these businesses that had no oversight from the government, what happened is these businesses just soaked up entire industries without any, anything stopping them. They became such huge, gigantic magnates that controlled entire swaths of the country and its people. And they did this without any kind of government oversight or intervention.
Give me an example. What business?
I mean, just look at Rockefeller. What's the other guy? It's like Standard Oil.
They didn't have a total monopoly, though. There were still people competing with them, from what I understand. And if you look at like the railroad magnates, they absolutely had government assistance and government cheese helping them along the way, demanding, paying them per mile and things like that. So there was still government in meddling going on there. Regardless, if somebody is able to corner 90% of the market, which is what I believe Standard Oil had, if I recall correctly, and they're able to do it without government assistance, then the only way they can do that is by providing a good product and great service, because that would be the only way they wouldn't be subject to competition, because normally that's where a competitor can edge in, is to say, oh, this Walmart gives crappy service, so I'm going to offer the same product, but I'm going to give better service and charge more for it, and that usually works to get some business. Thank you, Robert, for the call. We'll continue. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you feel like many of us? All the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Janess has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to GCNlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to GCNlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have two convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Yeah.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Moments remain. If you're not already on the lines, you probably shouldn't bother calling because we almost have full phones, and we are in the final moments here at Free Talk Live. If you don't get in tonight, you know what? We do a show every single night, 7 nights a week. We're live throughout the holidays, by the way. So if you want to listen on Christmas Eve, I already know Steven Zeiler is going to be joining us from AnyPay on Christmas Eve. So we've got a crew coming in. Christmas Day, we'll be here. Whatever holidays you celebrate, New Year's Eve, we're going to be here. So you can ring in the new year if you're in the whatever island time zones are with Free Talk Live. So yeah, we'll be here throughout the holidays, New Year's Day, etc. And because we're live 365 days per year, and you can join us online anytime you want. Grab the podcast over at freetalklive.com. And finally, our podcast host fixed the bug that has been plaguing our podcasts for 2 months. Or not podcasts. The podcasts have been fine. The podcast subscribers have been getting the right file names. But if you were just to go to freetalklive.com and click on the download button, it was downloading just this generic file name of SoundCloud download.
Right.
That's finally been fixed, and it's been fixed retroactively, so all those back archives are now correct. So we're good to go there. So
that's awesome.
If that was frustrating you, it was frustrating me. It's now all set there at freetalklive.com. Free archives. You can download as many as you want. And don't forget to get involved in our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm, where the conversation continues around the clock. We go to more of your calls and thoughts. Joe's in Michigan, listening to WSJM. Hello, Joe.
Hi.
Hey, you're on the air. Yes, we got you.
Yeah. My thing I was wanted to bring up is just how what we're dealing with today in America is maybe a result of our complacency with democracy. I'm just wondering, wanted to talk a little bit about my thoughts. Is just that I feel that we've allowed and accepted a lot of erosion of democracy, whether it's just upholding the law, whether it's holding elected people accountable. I think your point about not enough innovation within our party, and I'm concerned about the fact that there's a ton of things on the political spectrum that both conservatives and liberals have good points about and willing and worth debating. But I feel like we almost have to put those aside right now because our democracy is really at stake. I want it makes me wonder whether we can even have these debates in the future.
Well, so first of all, democracy is a loaded term. The definition of it is literally, the majority forcing their preference onto a minority, right? Whether it's, 51
I'm talking
onto
about
49.
specifically with American democracy, right?
Well, it's the same anywhere you go. I mean, democracy is just two wolves and a sheep deciding on dinner. I mean, people have decided that it's a good idea for some reason, and I'm not, it's not. It's just violence.
I mean, the definition of democracy literally supports something disgusting like gang rape, right? So that is a democracy.
Well, they voted on it.
According to the definition. These 5 dudes decided to, rape this one broad.
It's not okay whether it's, if somebody, if I come to your door with a gun and I put it to your head and I say, give me all your money, most people would agree that's wrong.
But
right?
I want to address something that he said, complacency, right? Have the, the people sort of yes, absolutely. Back in the day when the government, quote unquote, was being established, they were afraid of the people, right? The people would show up at the doors or houses of the folks who were, quote, put into power, unquote, if they did something wrong.
Might get tarred and feathered or something.
All of that kind of thing, right? And of course, you don't see that now. And if you did, the army and the gang of, government thugs has gotten so large that not only are they going to arrest you and likely you're going to end up dead in some way, shape, or form, but there's also going to be a campaign behind it to sort of make you into a criminal. And we see that. We talked about it on the show earlier. We see this with Julian Assange or, Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning. All of these types of people are being smeared, if you will. There's a whole campaign to sort of discredit them and what they've done when all they've really done is provided information.
So the thing I was going to say there was most people would understand that it's wrong if I say I'm going to put a gun to your head and demand your money. They would also likely agree that if I got 10 of my neighbors together and we all came and put a gun to your head, that it would probably also be wrong. And similarly, I would say it's also wrong if 51% of the people vote to put a gun to your head and take your money from you, or even 10% of your money from you. And that's what a democracy is. So I don't have any love for this idea of democracy. What I love is the idea of freedom. And I think that is at an all-time, people are very confused about these ideas. Joe?
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else you want to share?
No.
Thanks for the call, man. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. Let's go to Pat. He's in Michigan. You're on Free Talk Live. But of course, some people will say, well, what's the better idea? You know, we left the king and we did this democracy thing. I mean, certainly the democracy's better than a king. And I'm like, if your king is like a kind of leave me alone king, then no, actually, democracy wouldn't be better.
It's time to write the power pyramid, right? If you think of power as the food pyramid, right? It's upside down. Right, so let's turn it back to the other way, so that the individual now is responsible for himself and is only in charge of himself.
Yeah, we got you here, Pat, in Michigan. You're on. Go ahead, listening to WZTK FM in Alpena.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, go ahead.
I've been listening to you, and I called in on a different subject, but seeing as how you guys been railing on this, we are not a democracy. We are a democratic republic.
Oh, yeah. We used to say that crap on the air, too.
I know it's pettifogging, right?
Well, no, hold on. I just want to clarify that I don't think that's much better, right? A republic is supposed to be respecting of rights, right? That's one of the key differences is you elect representatives, and there's supposed to be an outlining of rights, and those are supposed to be respected, right? That's like one of the key differences between a democracy and a republic, correct?
All right, let us go to the root of the tree. The people that founded this country were fleeing exactly the tyranny that we've been discussing all evening here.
Agreed.
And when you make a hay penny a day, most people don't even know what a hay penny is. It's a half a penny.
I'm not sure where you're going with this.
The tyranny that we fled and the balls that you had to have to go to an unknown place where you might have to fight savages and be killed, and yet you were able to overcome all the obstacles. That is the cojones of America, and we've lost it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it saddens me deeply.
I totally understand where you're coming from. People are not willing to stand up for themselves. They're not willing to stand up against the oppressor, which is, of course, the state, the government gang as we know it. And you can understand why, because they will crush you under their boot. And, that's probably a fairly uncomfortable thing to do. So most people just go along and quietly pay, and they quietly do what they're told, even though they hate it.
Yeah, it's much easier to be a sheep.
Yeah.
Much easier to be a sheep.
Well, especially now when the sheep have air conditioning, and they've got all kinds of wonderful, deviations like sports to watch and video games to play,
and grooming tools and shuts for when they're fleeced. It's wonderful.
There you go, Pat. Thanks for sharing your thoughts tonight. I appreciate it. We continue. Mark is in New Hampshire. Mark, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hi. I'm calling in about what's going on in Virginia with the Second Amendment asylum counties.
What is going on
heard
there?
About that?
No, tell me about it.
Over 2/3 of the counties have decided that they're going to not follow the state government's ruling that's going in effect January 20th.
Oh, that's awesome.
For confiscation with no compensation of semi-automatic firearms and magazines over 10-round capacity.
Was this what the caller was referencing earlier when he said West Virginia? Was it Virginia where this is happening?
Virginia. It's
interesting.
2 counties. The sheriffs have said if they send the National Guard, we're deputizing every armed citizen.
Wow.
And over 2/3 have said they will not follow the law. And the governor has said they will deploy the National Guard. The general of the National Guard in the area says that he hasn't been given orders, but you never know what's in the works. And for January 20th, they're planning an armed rally outside the State House as they pass the legislation to make semi-automatics illegal.
Okay, so this hasn't been passed yet, but the sheriffs are pledging in advance to not enforce it and to block it?
This is all preemptive. But
very interesting. I love the idea of sanctuary cities and sanctuary counties, and it would love to, I'd also love to see a sheriff not only pledge to oppose arms confiscation, but pledge to oppose people confiscation. So have both the sanctuary county for arms and for people, and also for drugs. And let's just have a free county. How about that? Hey, thanks for the call, Mark. I appreciate it. Out of time for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow online. In the meantime, you can join us at freetalklive.com.
Would it be nice to wake up in the morning whenever you want and work whenever you feel like it? Date women under your terms instead of society's? Be a completely free man? I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free, on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses